work because, as they always say, second time is the charm. So let's just wait for the notification to pop up, which I'm sure it will right now. Just imagine I'm streaming on my fucking... Okay, cool. The ever so embarrassing "this video has been removed by the uploader" thing. I just want to see live chat so I can communicate with all the super cool people on the internet. So fuck you. I think I have like 3 decoy streams here that aren't the actual stream. Okay, so it says streaming, so I'm not sure why it's lying to me like this. This is the price I pay for just trying to have a couple fucking visuals, but I want to review a movie, all right? Thank you. How long did it take us? It took us fucking 30 seconds, a 30-second delay till it notified everybody. Thanks, guys. Thanks for nothing. Well, now that I know this, I could probably make the first 30 seconds my, playback intro. And what I mean by that is, when people play the video back, that's my intro specifically for them. Okay, cool. Now I can do the paper promo. Pardon how long and annoying this is going to be. Just give me a couple seconds. The paper promo will be the pro-life fetus demonstration. I'm not sure what the practical purpose of these are, just to show us what a fetus looks like. Yeah, congrats. I took middle school, but that is what we will be using. And we have sharing on, right? Cool. And there's nobody in live chat right now, so this is very good for us. So day 755. Oh, we've come so far. Add a little bit of highlight on there. Get little mini Brian out of here. You are annoying, my friend. Link. Done. Oh yeah, also welcome to Eating a Sheet of Paper a Day, day 755. Don't worry, there's paper being eaten in this. Just I'm getting a little long. I'm taking a little long to get to that part, but don't worry, it'll come. Just chill. Okay, great. Cool. Give me a second. All right, live chat will be up right here without Mini-Me in the corner talking. Nope, there's Mini-Me talking in the corner. That's annoying. Okay, wait. A little long. So that means the stream works. Here's the titular piece of paper. And I wanted to go through all this trouble and get off to this rocky start for a reason, not just to upset people who are watching, who just want to watch me eat paper. And if you're here to just watch me eat paper, well, hey, congrats. And also, I'm sorry to disappoint you, I guess, because in this video / live stream, I'm going to be doing a hopefully formal, passionate, substantive review. And hopefully, if I'm lucky and people... if people actually want to engage, a true debate about a movie I just saw. And I watch movies about once a week, new movies, new release movies. Don't worry, I'm not a casual. Of course I watch movies in general more than once a week, but new theater release movies, stuff that you would, pay to go and watch, pay $20, pay $20 more in order to get popcorn, so $40 movie, stuff like that. So I watched this movie. Here, I should probably move so you can see the poster better. I also just realized that how bad this makes me look, but there's a watermark from the fan account that made this poster. So this is not an official poster. I just get it from Letterboxd because I'm a patron. All right. Yes, you can throw rotten fruit at me right now, but yes, I donate money so I can get exclusive access to better looking posters than what they already have, which honestly, the original poster looking worse than this is kind of debatable, especially given that there's this terrible looking watermark now at the bottom of it. But just ignore that. I'm just going to white that out mentally. And we're going to focus on the movie because I have very mixed feelings about this. And it's interesting because, for reference, Letterboxd ratings, if you have a 4.3, and that's an example because that's what this movie has, that means the movie's a masterpiece. And it seems like everyone's under the impression that this movie's a masterpiece. And I think there's a masterpiece hidden inside this movie, but I don't think it's exactly there yet. It's so fucking close, and I'm quite literally fresh out of the movie theater. I just finished watching it. Me and my mother respectfully disagree about it. And I have watched plenty of good movies recently. I will not be able to see live chat for the next 3 seconds, so give me a second. Right? So I acknowledge Challengers, The Substance, Dune, and a Disney Plus movie called Out of My Mind. You see, there are movies that are good, and Challengers was a 9. Out of My Mind, which I can't believe a Disney Plus original indie film was capable of getting an 8, but it is, you know. It's just crazy to me that, like, The Wild Robot's a little too close to Transformers 1 on here, so that's kind of fucked up. But I'm trying to watch more films, Brienne, and I am watching more films, Ian, so we are now meeting at the middle ground where I talk about movie. I will try not to give spoilers about this one, because I don't know if you've seen Wild Robot, but I am building the suspense because I already have my rating prepared on my left side, which is also your left side because this is flipped. So that's going to show itself. You see the edge of the 0 in the 10. So I'm not, like, honestly, it's not that deep. No one's going to really wait super long for just a number. So I'll get into it. Okay. I think there's a masterpiece hidden in the editing room here. And it's really interesting because without giving any spoilers, I'm going to say that The Wild Robot is a movie about a robot, but it has capabilities of emotion, but it inevitably gets dragged back to the corporations where it has to conform to corporate schedules, formulas, and agendas. And I find that hilarious because that is quite literally the story of the creation of this movie to me. I believe that this movie is a prime example of studio interference making a piece of art worse. I believe that whoever wrote this, I believe it's the same guy who made How to Train Your Dragon. That guy knows how to write and pace a movie properly. How to Train Your Dragon is an excellently paced, classic movie. I do not know what happened, except I do. And I know that the studio, Universal, which it's so, oh my God, there's layers to this. It's so funny that Universal as a company, yesterday I saw the TV glow and then watching Grizzly Man. Trust me, Bree, and I don't care about spoilers. Well, Ian, your nihilism could potentially fuck the movie up for anybody else watching this, so I will still withhold some spoilers. But this movie, to me, is so frustrating because I've watched movies that are worse than this, and I've had a ball. I've had such a great time because I know there is no way in hell that Transformers 1 could have been any better. I think that is the peak of the Transformers series, plain and simple. This movie could have been something on the level of a Ratatouille. This could have been a 9 to a 10. It really could have. But the big thing, huge elephant in the room, and that is the music. The music is so fucked up in this movie. I think that this movie has some of the best animation and a really cute concept. It's like one of the most fun ideas for a concept I've seen in a while for a kids movie that actually got greenlit, and it's not just Kung Fu Panda 7. And also, on top of that, has... I mean, the animation is unmatched. Like, yeah, like kids' movies, like there's no one can criticize how good their animation looks. You know, even though I'm sure they have a whole sweatshop of people, probably some workplace accidents where people died from exhaustion. You know, I'm sure they have no air conditioning in the building they animated this movie in. But I still really appreciate and respect the animation. Very, very strong high point of this movie. But unfortunately, I could not care enough about how well the water in this movie's animated if in every scene the heartstring dramatic orchestral music, the generic orchestral music that's supposed to be played in an earned scene in a climax, it's playing in nearly every single scene in this movie. I'm not kidding. The fucking music, every single scene of this movie is littered with like trailer music, like overly melodramatic Imagine Dragons level melodrama orchestral music. It's insanity. It drives me crazy that studios get away with this because it just makes the movie so much worse. And I know for a fact that, what the fuck's his name? What's this guy's name? Chris Sanders. Yeah, Chris Sanders, the genius behind this movie and the better movie here, How to Train Your Dragon. I know that he did not want that. I know that he understands what makes a movie truly good because I have seen How to Train Your Dragon at least 17 and a half times. And the half is accounting for a time when I had to go to the bathroom and I forgot that the Blu-ray was still playing and it finished and I did not bother to get back to it again. So 17 and a half times. And that, and also, like, there's a couple things, but the main thing is the fact that, like, there's points in this movie where it's very clearly written with heart. Like, someone really cared about making this movie, and a lot of the performers cared about performing the movie, and it's very inconsiderate for whatever single psychopath at Universal Incorporated to go, you know what works in Marvel movies? You know, when Thanos shows up in the middle of Endgame, it's the giant orchestral music so the whole crowd can cheer. Just just slap that haphazardly into every single scene. I'm sure it'll work just great. And it is one of the biggest things working against this movie. No lie, this movie has probably the worst music all year. So annoying. So it's unfortunate that that negative quality had to be in one of the most promising movies of the year. Why? It was so fucking close. And on top of all that, there are some parts of the story that I feel are extraordinarily rushed. This is not really a spoiler, but I mean, okay, the plot of the movie is there's a corporation, an evil corporation called, what is it called? Like Universal something. Literally the name of the evil corporation in this Universal movie has the same name as the corporation that made this movie, and the same name as the same corporation that I believe interfered with this movie. So my big point here is it's so funny to me, and I feel like it could have been intentional for this movie to reflect what I know happened in the writer's room. Like, I know, like, this character, this one right here, the robot, she has a heart, and by the end of the movie, let's just say that she has to give in to the corporations and meet them in the middle. And by the middle, we just mean get sucked in. You know, she has to conform to the corporation standards. It's a very sad scene. My mom cried. Yeah. And throughout all of that, even though I was annoyed by the music, I was not really thinking about the music in that moment. I was thinking, holy crap, how ironic is it that this is the perfect representation of studio interference? Because this movie, as I am watching this robot being held back from, loving the animals it's about a robot that lands into the wilderness by an accident. And the robot's programmed to help humans with tasks, and it's dealing with a bunch of animals, so it has to socialize and become friends with the animals. Okay, I got that done with. I'm a little discombobulated, by the way, because it's so freaking late, and it was a very busy day. But, in fact, even getting to this movie was an absolute safari and a crazy roller coaster. I'm amazed I'm even alive right now. But the ending scene... Hold on, let me eat my first piece of paper. Excuse me. I guess I'm not really in a paper eating mode today. Jesus. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, no, by the end of the movie, the robot has to give in and conform, and it's very frustrating, I imagine, for a lot of the viewers, because they're like, oh no, I really wanted to see this robot stay in the wilderness forever and socialize with all the animals. And I'm thinking a similar thing, but it's a little different. I'm thinking, oh no, why couldn't the movie not be really shit at points? And why couldn't it be properly edited and have the story pacing properly done, and maybe have music that doesn't come off as extremely overbearing and manipulative? Oh no! So I was, tearing up, but for different reasons. I was like, what the fuck? This was so close. We could have had movie of the year. But yeah, the music is truly abysmal, and there are parts of the story where they just kind of fast forwarded over parts of the characters' arcs, I think. And if I am interpreting the movie correctly, and the movie just kind of didn't care. And to me, it's so obvious that Chris Sanders did not want to do that. It's so clear to me that some fucking psycho over at Universal was like, yeah, no, we got to keep the movie at like an hour and a half, all right? We can't have it dragging on. We don't have time for arcs, so just either fast forward that shit, and also we need to have the beginning be extra dragged out where she's exploring around, because that shows the curiosity of childhood, so we have to keep that in. But fast forward all the stuff involving character arcs, so that's frustrating. So story pacing, music, two qualities of this movie that are so stinky that they would drag a potential 9 to a 10 all the way down to a 7. But it's okay. I'm not gonna slight the visionary for it, Chris Sanders. But I think after the movie was over, I started really recognizing the things that I truly liked about it. And one thing I'd like to shout out is the main performance. Like, oh my god. This lady has been in Lupita... What the fuck's her name? Yeah, Lupita Nyong'o plays the main character, the curious robot, right? And I think she's been in nothing but movies that annoy me. Like she was in Black Panther. That movie made me feel nothing. I was an empty husk after that movie. She was in all three of the terrible, fucking awful Star Wars movies, the Star Wars sequels. She was in A Quiet Place Day One, a movie that nobody watched. She was in 12 Years a Slave. It's been a long time since I saw that. I believe I saw that on Martin Luther King Day when I was like 8. Good times. When I was like 10. Yeah, yeah. But she was also in the worst Jordan Peele movie ever, Us. What studio would ever have this movie? It's such a shame. And it's very clear that she's a good actor. You know, he did Lilo and Stitch. Yeah, it's been a long time. Have you seen the trailer of Stitch going nigga? That's a moment for the ages. So, yeah, that's what that reminds me of. Chris Sanders, you're a mastermind. But, fucking, this lady was probably the best voice acting performance I've heard in a long time for a very specific reason. She killed this role in a way that I don't think any other actor in any other movie could get the chance to, right? The main character's arc here, the robot, is programmed almost like an Amazon Alexa, but much more advanced, but with basically the same personality. And the enthusiasm that the robot feels is very disingenuous at first, and it's really interesting because at the beginning of the movie, you know, it's called Roz, I think. That's the name of the robot. It's part of the whole arc where it's like, you're more than just a number. Let's give you a real name, you know? So that's the name of the robot. I'm just going to call it the robot because I just don't remember. I'm terrible with names. I just can't remember any of them. So the robot's arc, it's really beautiful to me. It's one of my favorite parts of the whole movie, where at first the robot is programmed for enthusiasm, programmed to enthusiastically assist any living being that might indicate that it needs help. And it's a little disingenuous, and I really do think that Lupita nailed that disingenuous Alexa tone. Hello, I'm here to help. Can I help you today? Here are some factoids about Arizona. Did you know it's the 54th president? Wait, what am I talking about? I'm sleepy. Did you know it's the 48th state? Which is not true. I think that's Hawaii. But, like, you get what I'm talking about, right? The robot is just kind of the tone of the robot. I sound so fucking stupid right now. Please, it's only you and me in here. I don't care about spoilers. Well, just in case, man. You never know when, you know, I might accidentally show my penis on a paper reading pre-recorded, and then it goes viral, and then people will refer back to this, and then I'm going to spoil like 80,000 people on the movie. Fuck that. Although I might hint at spoilers anyway, which I was planning on doing without your help, so, like, whatever. But my point, and I will get to the spoilers that you really want. You're talking around the movie, not about the movie. Hey, buddy, I am simply chewing around I'm peeling the skin off the apple before I bite in, all right, buddy? Have some patience. Also, I think because this is on OBS, there will be a 30-second delay, so sorry about how it'll seem like I'm ignoring your shit for like half a minute. But hey, man, I got this much paper left, and the effort you're putting into these chats have seemed to really indicate that you're not going anywhere, and I'm not going anywhere either. So let's buckle down, okay? Let me eat the skin around the apple, then get into it, all right? So the thing I really appreciate about this movie is the fact that as this robot continues to socialize more and more with these animals and gets to know them, it is a little frustrating, and it's intentionally frustrating when the movie starts with, you know, the animals, because it's nature, being mean to her, right? Or it's, right? It's not a she. I mean, it's kind of supposed to be a she. I don't know. It's hard to really tell. But the animals are kind of attacking her, and she's sustaining lots of bodily damage. And as the movie progresses, the arc you're supposed to witness is the robot becoming accepted into nature, because then the animals being so empathetic, as I'm sure the brain chemistry in that totally matches up to real life, but the animals are capable of empathy towards a robot, and they realize, wait a minute, the robot was just trying to help, and it was just made that way. It was born that way, and it just had a prime directive. Let's stop attacking it. And that's cool and all. That's a pretty typical arc I've seen. I was honestly so much more interested in the robot's arc than anything else, which I feel like should be normal. But it was mainly because of just how fucking good Lupita Nyong'o's performance was, because my point that I was getting to, for I was so rudely interrupted by Ian and also myself getting distracted, so it's not all your fault, is later on in the movie, the story of the wild robot is basically the robot learns to forget her prime directive and understand how to care for something. The robot comes into contact with a nest that she accidentally killed. She was tumbling down a mountain and killed a bird and accidentally killed all the, crushed the eggs, right? All the bird feti, plural of fetus, they're all dead. And only one egg remains. And then she feels bad, question mark, because she's a robot, and she decides, as seen in this poster right here, right? That's not a mushroom, despite it looking like a mushroom. It's the bird. It's a chicklet, right? It's a baby duck that, some species of bird that looks like a duck, and she has to raise it, right? Because she gives herself an objective, because her programming starts kind of deviating from the Universal Corporation, the corporation that's called, it's called Universal Dynamics. Yeah, it's named after, it has basically the same name as the studio that I know fucked this movie up. So that, just the levels of irony are so funny to me. But yeah, the story of the movie is just the robot being a mother to this, duck. And the way the story transpires is pretty cliche, and it's even more frustrating that because the movie really wants to rush the story along, the plot points that lead to the different items in the checklist getting checked off, to me, it's it literally just seemed like a guy in a suit walked in on Chris Sanders and is like, come on, man, let's just finish this up. We got a deadline. Just the robot suddenly feels bad, and then the duck comes over and says, I never got to say this before because I was upset at you for no reason, because the movie required for me to be upset at you, but now I've had a change of heart and I am sorry and I love you. And the duck says, I love you to the first time, and the robot's greatly damaged by the evil corporation and it's turned off, but when he says I love you, the robot turns on again and hugs the duck. It is your typical Pixar movie fare, except it's in a DreamWorks movie, which is a studio known for skirting Pixar cliches, so it's really funny that they're really pulling shit like this now. And I don't care about the checklist as long as it's done properly. But the movie really, because the whole story is rushed, and I don't think the story is rushed around those particular plot points, I just think that's an unfortunate side effect of the studios really trying to place a deadline on this movie. And so everything was rushed. Probably the animation, they probably had to work extra hard to make it look slick, but I guarantee you the workers were probably not compensated properly for pay. That's been a problem at DreamWorks recently. This is not even a hot take. I think this is common knowledge at this point. And then when it came to the editing and also the fucking music, that was really not an individual artist's decision. That was a studio decision. And, not to sound like, an artistic advocate nerd or something, but when something becomes a studio decision, it's objectively worse. It's just every decision that I suspect the studio made was for the worse. So, and it's amazing to me that it's so high for being a movie that has such a corporate feel when it comes to the orchestral Imagine Dragons heartstring music and the way it's paced. Basically like a Chat GPT, let's throw a bunch of common platitudes and plot points together type movie. Because I just think the movie very clearly has a heart. I think that Chris Sanders or whoever else wrote this movie really cared about it. There are some scenes at the end. Brian, I've got a question. I suspect this question comes after I dropped the race bomb. How do you get over worrying about your internet presence / digital footprint? I don't know. What do you mean get over worrying? I'm sure, I think there are moments in my life where I do worry. It's just that, I already know that, for one, my biggest worry is deletion of what I've worked so hard to make. And believe it or not, I believe that the accumulation of my efforts and my expression over all of the years I've been on the internet, it's something that I'm actually quite proud of, and I actually want that archive to be saved. I don't want to delete that. So I'm faced with two pretty unfavorable options, Both are worst case scenarios, but one is I have to, hold on, I won't be able to see chat in a couple seconds because my phone's about to go out, but one option is I have to accept that someone might dig up some old clip of, me saying some evil word, and then I'll have to explain myself, or I delete everything I've worked hard to create, something that I think that, and this sounds really stupid, but I have placed a lot of my feelings of self-worth into it, which I'm sure that might be seen as unhealthy, but honestly, if you work really hard at something and a lot of it is a true expression of who you are and you're trying to put your personality into it, of course you'll see it as a represent or a projection of yourself. Like, that's inevitable. So between those two options, oh yeah, I'll keep my shit up. I don't care. Like, if I care, that level of care that you're talking about, like worrying, that type of worrying that you're talking about worrying about your internet footprint, that type of worrying will stifle you. You'll deprive yourself of one of the greatest joys you can have, which is expressing yourself freely on the internet. I love doing this. Like, I mean, I went through hell to set up this OBS live stream, and I'm still going through hell because my phone's about to go out, but I still love it. It's all still worth it because the act of this type of interaction, I love it. It's just fun for me. I've always found it fun. So, back to the movie, though. I think that... Also, I apologize because I'm really jumping from point to point. I'm not very clear. This is very disorganized, so I apologize because I didn't even finish my diatribe about Lupita's performance. But, yeah, her performance is incredible. And I will say there's a scene at the very end where it's very clear, like, it's the whole, like, I'm saying goodbye. No, don't go. Please stay. I can't. The corporation's too powerful. I have to give in. We'll remember you forever. And obviously it was delivered a lot better than that. But, back to the movie. Oh, don't worry, Ian. It's a good question. It's okay. I forgive you, man. But, right, I mean, if you really look at the crux of what some of these scenarios in this movie are, yes, it's very, 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 very cliche. But at the same time, it's delivered with heart. It's written and delivered with heart, with, like, corporate decisions surrounding it. So a lot of the genuine expression of emotion on the writers and artists' part gets a little lost in translation. But honestly, all in all, as indicated by my rating over here, that's okay. Because if I have an optimistic enough attitude, I can walk in and probably have maybe an 8 out of 10 experience. But I really am objectively fooling myself, so this movie truly is a 7. But I can walk in and have an 8 out of 10 experience. It's just the music. I think the music's going to be really hard to get over. It's going to be fucking rough. So, you know how someone made the Phantom edit where they edited Jar Jar Binks out of the Phantom Menace? Someone needs to make a Wild Robot edit where they edit out all the really shitty music. So if someone out there's listening, out of the 3 viewers on my live stream right now, yeah, someone get to work on that, please. That will really make my year a lot less depressing. Thanks, man. But as I was saying, my final point that I'm trying to wrap up here, my favorite part of this movie was Lupita Nyong'o's performance. And the reason I really like her performance is by the end of the movie, she is a changed character, but, you know, and obviously characters change, especially protagonists, but the way this character changes is very particular because this character has a very particular tone, and the tone of an Alexa robot designed to be like a digital assistant, they have a very particular tone that people who have not lived under a rock or don't have a random irrational fear of technology know all too well, which is like, hello, can I help you? Would you like some bean fun facts? Did you know that the most expensive bean is the chili dog bean? Like, just the way it just kind of lists off bullshit. The robot doesn't care, you know? And this particular robot in this movie has the capacity to care, but it hasn't really found its way around to doing it yet. Throughout the movie, the main arc of the movie is the robot is at first bothered and very apathetic towards the plight of others because it's a fucking robot. But over the course of the movie, the robot sees how emotion works, and because the robot needs to analyze everything, it learns to truly understand and unlock a part of itself that it didn't know existed before, right? We've all seen that. We've all watched WALL-E. But I think the performance, the vocal performance for the robot in this movie is so good because it's not just a overnight switch. Like, despite the fact that the movie literally skips over important parts, like there's literally a flash forward like of 9 months where the duck here, the little baby duck, goes from a baby to a grown up, and it literally does like the Lion King thing where it just flashes forward some random snapshots, and even despite that, you can still tell that Lupita tried to gradually progress the tone of the character from a robot who just landed here and is not exactly sure what it's doing and how emotion works. So it's talking like an Alexa, and that slow progression from that to, by the end of the movie, the robot still has the intonation of an Alexa, and it kind of has that same voice. It's like it has the same programmed voice box. You know how you can kind of wear a voice like a glove? There's digital AI that can do that. But by the end of the movie, the way Lupita voices this character, it's speaking with a very clear understanding of how emotion works. This character speaks with a sincerity that it did not have at the beginning. And I like how that sincerity, that evolution of sincerity in the tone of the voice, indicating the robot's understanding and its arc, its main arc, that is the point of the film, is illustrated through this really, really powerful performance. Like, even at the beginning of the movie, you can tell the robot's feeling emotions. It's just not really clicking with the robot, and it doesn't understand its own capacity to experience yet. And so, hold on, excuse me. That was not a fart. I was cracking my back. You see? Be impressed. But yeah, I just love how throughout the movie, it's even though the film is edited and paced in a way that's a little haphazard, by the end of the movie, you realize Lupita still, this voice actor still managed to work in this gradual progression. I don't know how she did it, but it I'll have to rewatch it to really, I'll have to deal with the fucking annoying music in this movie again in order to really analyze her performance. But yeah, I just think that being able to create this recognizable intonation, and she nailed it. She nailed the Amazon Alexa sound. That I think that by the end of the movie, when she goes from Alexa to just a person with Alexa's voice, a character with Alexa's voice, but it no longer behaves and speaks like Alexa. It actually cares. Excuse me. It possesses a lot more of an understanding. Like, you get what I'm saying, though, right? It's like if an Amazon Echo possessed, or had an epiphany, had like a mid-robot lifetime epiphany. I trust that you didn't fart, thanks. So, because everyone at the beginning of this movie was listening to the main character and going, yeah, that does sound like Alexa. That really reminds me of tons of it doesn't even have to be Amazon. It can be like, they have names now for all these fucking digital assistants, like Twitter, like they have like Grok, like, oh yeah, you want to grok something? So, and they all have voices, and it all has that same tone. Hello, I'm Grok. I can help you with anything. I can give you factoids about Twitter. Did you know that Twitter was founded in 2007? Like, everyone knows what that sounds like. So when they're watching the movie, they're like, oh shit, yeah, I know exactly what type of digital assistant this robot is, even though it's a robot that's very advanced and we can't do yet. I mean, it's a futuristic robot that doesn't exist at this level in the real world. It's still, you can still tell where emotionally this robot character's at, which makes it all the more impressive. Even if you don't consciously notice it, you'll have those natural associations because everyone's dealt with a digital assistant, like Siri or something like that, right? Siri, Alexa, whatever. By the end of the movie, you'll go, oh wait, it went from literally just the fucking annoying assistant on my phone that does not understand how emotion works, or, the Alexa lying on my kitchen countertop that pretends to be enthusiastic about giving me factoids I don't care about. It went from that to going through this arc and having that understanding, and just the way this actress pulls it off, it's awesome. It's really awesome. That took a really long time to say, but I was really blown away by that. It's a shame that she couldn't be in a better movie again. But I think this has to be close to her best movie she's been in, which is a shame because I think that she could be in a great movie. But the number of actors out there who are extremely talented, it's just they keep getting the wrong movies. It really illustrates to you how few good movies there truly are out there. When a great movie truly comes by, it is a special experience. So I hope moments like this, where we almost got a good movie, will make us appreciate when a truly good one comes. Because I will not be watching this again. I'm not going to deal with the music again. But yeah, Lupita Nyong'o performance was excellent. She clearly did her research. She clearly bought 12 Alexas and just listened to them rant at her. And she really had that mother thing. Watching this with my mom, I did not expect for the movie to be so mother-centric. But and my phone is dead, so I can no longer look at chat. So I'm gonna, unfortunately, have to go into a separate browser now. And just in case, right? Because imagine if you try to communicate with me, and it seems like I don't give a shit because I can't hear you. We don't want that. Okay, there we go. Oh yeah, we have 2 to 3 pieces left, I think. Okay, we're fine. Anyways, those are my overall thoughts. I thought that there were lots of parts of the movie that were really, really, really good, and it's crazy. It's like the Beach Boys discography. The very best of the Beach Boys discography is fantastic, some of the best music that ever existed, and the rest of their music, with no in-between, is complete leftover bullshit that is factory processed, you know. Listen to, like, the Beach Boys Christmas album with an S in parentheses. I'm not lying. I think they've made, like, 18 Christmas albums. They're all different songs, written at different periods of these guys' lives and when Brian Wilson left, and they all sound the same. It's terrible. 7.1 Ian says, so you're fucking revealing that you've seen it the whole time while making a big fuss that you don't care about spoilers. Dude, you're like the Joker. You deceived everybody. Well, you know, if I'm going to just, emotionally overcome the deceit that I just went through and actually talk about your opinion, did nothing but didn't feel like I wasted the day. Yeah, that's just TikTok scrolling right there. You just got a TikTok scrolling experience from the Wild Robot. That's depressing. Well, I don't think this was a waste of time because it led to me making this live stream so I can practice, you know, in live stream, unscripted format, laying out my thoughts and organizing them. I failed today because I really got distracted and it took me like 20 minutes to make a very simple point. I just thought that Lupita did a great job at imitating an Alexa who goes through an emotional crisis, and that's a very unique performance. That took like 5 seconds, but... Oh, rating my day. Oh, okay. Never mind. Hey, man, you gave the score after I kind of was speaking conclusively about my thoughts on the Wild Robot, so the timing was wacky, especially because we have the stream delay, so I don't even know. I guarantee you it does not seem like that to you, but it just seems like that to me. So just, never mind. No, you're just rating my day. Okay. Did nothing but didn't feel like I wasted the day. Sorry. Whoops. Haven't seen it. I don't know if I will. Well, fair warning, the music sucks, but, again, I'm very picky about music and just the way I listen to movies and watch them. Like, the way I watch movies, I really notice when music is haphazardly placed. But there's tons of people who don't notice, and judging by the 4.3 rating on Letterboxd, most people truly didn't notice it either. But, yeah, the music's bad. Music's really bad. So... everything else about the movie, even the story, even though that was my second criticism, overall the story is still pretty solid. It's just, you're not going to get anything groundbreaking. It will not be reinventing the wheel. But I think the way that the story progressed, there's a lot of great things about it. It's just very held back by studio interference. So, which is why, to me, it's weird, because 7 out of 10 is one of my least favorite ratings to give a movie. Most movies that are 7s are movies that were truly capable of being better but couldn't. Like, it's really weird. So, you know, what were my 7 out of 10s of the year? I know it was Beetlejuice, the Beetlejuice sequel. Speak No Evil, which is a remake of the old movie from like 2 years ago, the Dutch film. And Furiosa, right? All of those are movies that could have easily been better, and they are decisions that I could have made, man. Not that I could be a studio writer, but it's crazy that some old schlub like me can make better corporate or better artistic decisions than the supposed artists and studio heads that get paid a lot more than I do for my labor job to write, schlock like what ends up getting put in what otherwise could have been a masterpiece of a movie. So 7 out of 10s to me seem to be, this the 7 out of 10 realm in my scaling system for movies. It seems to be the realm of squandered masterpieces, which is why 7s are the most annoying rating because it never feels conclusive. It's never like unequivocally shit or unexpected masterpiece. I loved it. It's always just like really, really good, but ... and that's it. It's, feels like the kind of movie people say is awesome, then I'll like it and I'll watch it and I'll think just, yeah. Well, that was my experience, I guess, so. Because this is the first movie I am actually properly trying to review on the paper stream like this, in this particular format. This might seem unusual, but I'll attempt to do this more on a weekly basis as long as I can maintain my schedule without being retarded about it, which I think I can. So hopefully we will be able to have more movie discussions, especially with movies that hopefully you've already seen, so we can get more comprehensive about it, because I basically just gave you the whole plot of the movie already anyways, but you don't care about spoilers, so enjoy it, form your own opinion, and I'm going to finish eating my paper. And let's get this shit out of here, because we are done talking about this movie. Brilliant movie reviews would be cool. Correction, they are cool, because I just did one. If I were to script it out a little better, I guarantee you it would be better, but honestly, this is good practice. Like, I think down the road, as I continue talking about movies, I will get better at not getting distracted and organizing my points better so I can be in and out of the movie review quicker just so I can review it and really not feel like I glossed over anything, because I just want to make sure that all of my true thoughts on the movie are pretty clear, pretty out there. And I still didn't address everything with this movie. We didn't address that Mark Hamill plays a grizzly bear, and he does not sound like Mark Hamill at all. He just sounds like a generic grizzly bear. I'm just so tired of studios hiring actors and not voice actors, because the fact that it's Mark Hamill, like, aside from that, it adds nothing. Like, anyone can do a grizzly bear act like that. It's like nothing. It's not special. But still, my highest rated movie of the year is Challengers. That is the best movie of the year. I believe second place is The Substance. And Substance was another movie it was an 8 for me, by the way. And just The Substance was so fucked up because, and not like that, like, it's fucked up because it was so close to truly being a 9. Again, it was part of my burp, it was so close. But they had these scenes at the end where they were flashing back to earlier lines when I already got it. Like, the movie was very self-referential, and it would have these bits, and they would call back to those bits later on in the movie. But the movie was so self-masturbatory about itself, and it was so proud of itself for being good, I guess, that they literally had fade-ins to just repeat footage from earlier in the movie where, like, I got it. Like, there's a scene where it talked about a boob being in the middle of someone's face instead of their nose or something, and then the end of the movie where a boob falls out of her face, and then it flashes back to fucking, like, the same footage. It's almost like they were on a tight budget. It's like, whatever. How can we stretch this to 2 hours? Let's just put in the same old footage from before. And they just add some stupid reverb, and it's just them talking about the boob in the middle of her face. I'm like, yeah, I saw that already. And literally when I saw the boob fall out of her face, I remembered the line because it was a very memorable line. I got it. I already understand your reference. Stop flashing back to it because it ruins it. Like, the number one thing that ruins callbacks is to have an incel with the pointing finger pointing. You see, I did this, No one likes that. What would you have done in the past so you didn't feel burnout from making these videos? Wait, what? From making videos, because I know it's something you've talked about. Well, I mean, the burnout, the results from that are self-evident because this is like my first, these 5 live streams are my first footprint on YouTube in like 6 months since I've released ContentCon 2023. I promise I'm working on that new video for good content. I just literally have no time. Like, I'm so close. I believe that when the video is done, it's going to be 8 to 9 minutes long. I have fully edited, like 7.5 minutes of this video. So I'm getting there. I'm so close. But I'm not going to say it's burnout. It's just, when you feel expectations are put on you, and a lot of those expectations are not from other people, it's really on myself. It's like it's weird. I feel like this, like I'm treating YouTube like it's a A+ filmography when I know it's not. But I don't know. I always think to myself, what's so wrong about having standards? And apparently the answer is everything, because when I have standards like the ones I set upon myself, I'm like scared to make a video because I'm like, oh fuck, it's gonna be bad and it's gonna make my whole list of videos look bad. I already have a great list of accomplishments. It's all these videos, and and I'm like, okay, well, why even try? Why bother? And then time passes and I'm not satisfied with the alternative. I'm like, okay, well, I didn't bother and now I'm bothered because I want to make more videos because that's how I feel happy. So, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think I should feed that part of myself because it's healthy. I think it's healthy to openly express. That's what these paper streams kind of are, which is why I brought them back. And also, they're pretty low effort. Even though this one was a little more high effort because we had to do all this. So, but it's a good middle ground, right? Rather than a 7-minute video involving like 20 minutes of footage that I have to heavily edit in green screen and do this. I had to do this, by the way, no spoiler for the new video, but in order to edit this video, I had to do some very wacky editing I've never done before, where I basically had to duplicate a video on top of itself. In the top layer, I had to color key out a beige background of a projector screen that was the same color as the wall behind it. However, I only wanted for images and videos to appear on said projector screen, so I basically had to sandwich layers of video in between 2 other videos. And keep note, all of this was being rendered in After Effects at the same time, so it's just a nightmare. And I had to put a mask on, not that type of mask, but like an After Effects mask, so I can crop the corners so it can perfectly sync up to the black edges of the projector screen so that it doesn't bleed into the beige wall. And that basically stretched out my editing process 8 times longer than it should have, and the end result doesn't even look that impressive. It just looks like I put something on the projector in the background when I'm giving my speech, even though there was nothing there. Standards are good. Yeah, but if it weren't for my like I had standards back in the day when I was cranking out more videos, but they weren't so I wasn't so irate and anal about them to the point where it prevented me from putting anything out. Like, consistency is important, and actually one of the wiser things that Randall Hild once said to me is, it's better to be done than perfect, because if you truly want your work to be perfect, the done part will never come. But I do agree, standards are good. I'm planning on making just shorter videos with lighter editing, because that's what always seems to work. Like, I know when I put this video out, it's an unusual video. It's also very politically incendiary. There's many reasons. There's like 20 different reasons why it's not going to be my most popular video. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, I like this video. I like it because it's one for me, not one for them, right? This is not a condom review type video. This is something that I really wanted to put effort into. It's a big project. And it's been like 6 months in the making, and I am proud of it. But I think that I'm the only one who's going to see it that way, because when this video comes out, people are just going to be like, huh, what? I think the format is a little experimental. It's unusual to the point where I feel like when people watch it, they're just going to be like, okay, can you make another philosophy teacher song? That was better and funnier. I'm like, okay, sure. So I'm going to be making like minute and a half long videos, because like making longer content, for one, takes fucking forever. And two, I do want to meet a middle ground between people and myself, right? Message retracted. I'm going to pretend that what that retracted message is, fuck off, Brian, man, please yourself and no one else. But you know what pleases me? Pleasing other people. And obviously, you see me as the opposite of that, because it's a little more complicated than just one type of pleasing. Like, when it comes to social groups or being out in public, yeah, of course, I will assert myself, and I start fights and conflicts with people all the time when it's not in my best interest, right? You see me as Ian, I know you see me as this. You see me as a loudmouth who says whatever the hell he wants publicly and doesn't give a fuck what other people think, right? I understand that point of view, and yes, to a degree, it's very true. But also at the same time, when it comes to my process of making what I call art on the internet, even if it's really shitposty, low-quality art that I make, to me, I treat it like art. I see it as art. That process is very different than if I'm just posting Instagram stories or I'm talking about something on the paper stream. Good content, even though it is my platform with the least number of followers. My Instagram has over 2,000. This has 800 and something. Good content has 517, I believe. It has the lowest amount of subs, and yet it is the platform that I put the highest amount of care into. And it's because I know there are people who actually have an investment in it, and I would like to reward the fact that, because I mean, people texting me, or people, like, I'll go to my local mall and people will run into me into the street. And they will tell me, hey, dude, I'm really excited for your next good content video. I don't know when it's coming out. It's been a while, but I'm staying up to date and I'm still tuned in. And I can't wait for when the next one's going to come out. Stuff like that, that rewards me. That makes me feel so goddamn good. The dopamine receptors, or the dopamine glands in my body, are going off. They're popping off at that point. And so I don't think it's unusual or spineless at all to at least have the urge to reward that great feeling. Because people telling me, especially way back when, but still to this day, like, it's been happening for like over half a decade now, like 5 to 6 years. On a regular basis, people would tell me, dude, I can't wait for your next video. And I'm like, hello, I've just met you for the first time. I don't even know who you are, but the fact that you're invested in my channel and you recognize my face in this mall when I'm in Rite Aid trying to buy some Tapatio Doritos, that means a hell of a lot to me. So, in this situation, I'm not spineless, but I'm willing to bend my spine backwards a little bit because people who subscribe to my channel, I would like to reward them with content that they'll actually watch. And yet, I am still carrying through with editing this experimental 8 to 9 minute video, my blackface speech, with very weird editing that is going to be, it's not going to really click with many people, and it's going to be more of a me pleaser than a people pleaser. But I'm still going through with it. That's the first impression, but you're way more nuanced than that. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Well, I mean, I already explained. Like, it's not like I need to be like, oh, finally someone gets it. I'm like, yeah, no, I made it easy to, hopefully, and I believe I did, make it pretty easy to understand. Hey, what's up, Job? So, I'm just saying that, like, there's being scared of people, having a having a perpetual fear of people. And because of that perpetual fear of people, anytime anyone under any context seems to insinuate that they want anything, I will bend over backwards to get it to them because I'm spineless. There's a difference between that type of person, the person who is scared of being judged, and so they will not speak their mind or express themselves ever in public or away from their close-knit group of friends, which, through my experience, most people are like that. There's a difference between that and what I'm doing here. I will be willing to bend and alter my spine a little bit, especially when it comes to the main channel. Not really when it comes to this channel, and not really when it comes to my Instagram account, and not really when it comes to my TikTok account either. That's like that's like my leftovers bin. That's just a bunch of stuff that I dump that it's just lying in my camera roll and I want to save storage space, even though that one parking structure video got 500,000 views, which is not special on TikTok, but like, I mean, it was really cool. There are people at Panama now who recognize me specifically, and they literally like, dude, the security guard parking structure in a sentimental mood Duke Ellington song guy, he's here. I thought he lived in Florida or something, So that's sweet, and that's still my point. Like, my point is that moments like that are so awesome. I love that. And every single time it happens, like, I would like to not just, like, because when I was younger, when I was in high school, whenever something like that would happen, and somebody like, dude, you're the two genders guy, and I always assumed that it was just someone kind of just trying to provoke me or be an asshole. But I'm like, no. For the first time, in your life, you're actually putting something out on the internet and people are appreciating it, okay? Can you appreciate that back? Can you appreciate the appreciation? And I think it's a sign of maturity that, like, I am now in a spot where it's like, okay, I recognize that, and now the pressure's on because I actually want to reward that investment. Not like they're exerting much to click on a YouTube video and watch it, but still, I think it's, it doesn't have to be my responsibility, but it is my honor to bestow that responsibility upon myself. You know Romeo, right? You mean the character from Romeo and Juliet? Yeah, he's a little bitch. He poisoned himself. All right, get over your feelings. Or are you saying Romeo is in like a person who I'm supposed to know? I don't know who Romeo is. In that case, like if you have a friend named Romeo, never met him. And that was the last piece. But what did we learn today, huh? Wild Robot was a 7. Music sucked. Everything else was pretty relatively good except for the story pacing. Lupita Nyong'o's performance was excellent. One of the best emotional kind of... How am I going to say this? How about this? One of the best performances from a voice actor this year. There we go. Kept it nice and simple. And I think that I will want to be a little bit of a people pleaser when it comes to specifically and exclusively my main channel, because I want to have standards, and two, the engagement and the positive engagement I get on there, that matters to me. So be prepared for a bit of a non-people pleaser video. It's not going to get very many views. There's no way it's going to get very many views. And it probably won't get too many likes either. It's probably like one comment going, "Bro, why are you talking about blackface? I thought you were politically, I thought you're totally politically symmetrical, but I am not politically symmetrical. If politics was a determiner of shape, I am an oblong, obtuse object. I have a couple spikes and directions over here and diagonal. It's fucked up. But hey, my opinions are my opinions. Sometimes they go a little out there. So, Ian, wait, what? Oh, ha! Romeo needs to maintain his privacy, I guess. Ooh. So, okay, that's the end of the paper stream. Be prepared for this new art versus propaganda blackface speech video that I did in school. There are already a couple people who said that it is legally questionable to upload it, but I do not care. If it gets deleted, I might have a Vimeo re-upload or something like that. I doubt it, though. I truly doubt it. And I have a couple ideas of a couple things I might cut out of the video if it's too controversial for YouTube, so whatever. But stay tuned. Subscribe to Good Content, the main channel. You know how to find it. I feel like I shouldn't have to explain that. Channels tab of this channel, go down, Good Content, you'll see it. And so that when the video comes out in its uncensored form, hopefully first try, it'll stay up. You can watch it, see if it's as kind of lame as I don't think it is, but I think that most people will see it as like, I don't think most people will like it as much as I do, but I really like this video and I'm proud of it, so I don't even care. But you're not going to get a long form video like this for a long time because they really fucked my schedule up, and I will not be putting stuff out for like 6 months if I keep making videos like that. So after this video, expect for the second half of this year to be filled with tons of like maybe 30-second to 2-minute long videos of just retarded shit. So there you go. The end. Thank you very much. Romeo, show yourself, and I will see you tomorrow. Make sure to live, laugh, cry, also not die. And until next time, this is goodbye. I'll see you tomorrow. Day 700.